Hey, Shalom. First, I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone GMS that rule well. Peace and salutations unto the chosen elect, beginning with the 144,000, and to all the Akim and Akwaf tuning in, the few sisters chiming in. May this lesson be edifying. This is the brother Halayim from the Great Millstone branch of Chicago coming at you with another lesson. And some older brothers may not know of this new trend, or this rapper that came up with this trend, known as 6-7, which is a chant that all these little kids, in school are repeating over and over again. But come to find out, after doing some research, turns out the guy that the rapper behind this chant, was a rapper by the name was Skrilla from Philadelphia. This rapper, this Jake, this Israelite, this Hebrew Israelite is into conjuring up demons and spirits, man. Santa Maria. Now this YN's music, this chant, is prevalent among the youth, and the kids just can't stop saying it. So I'm gonna let this video play. And this really just shows you, that we truly are those people. Because Jake always, throughout history, from the ancient world up into this present time, they always had that spirit of idolatry heavy on them, man. Even back then when Jake were witnesses to the miracles, of Egypt, they still chose to follow after, the gods of the heathen, man, these idols. So I'm going to let this video play, and may this lesson be edifying to the ministry.
Is finally getting exposed, and the origins of this chant is even more darker and evil than you can imagine. Okay, and what makes this even worse is that the rapper who created this chant set his mind to target children, and so by doing that, he placed a popular kid jingle into this song to lure them in. Okay, I want to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. I have a ton of videos to show you, and by the end of this video, it will all make sense. Okay,
this is Skrilla. This guy's the reason your kids are saying 6-7 from a song he made called Doot Doot. Skrilla is into demonic worship. He is a santero. He's into Palo Mayumbe. And the Doot Doot or 6-7 song is literally a chant and summoning the spirits that he operates in.
I'm a santo. I do palo. I'm a santo.
What's that mean exactly?
Like, all that sacrificing goats and not just for like that's real life.
You sacrificed a goat.
Sacrifice goats, chickens, mice. Like I do for certain though. Like I'm not allowed to explain it.
I take y'all in my godfather crib so he can show y'all something with my religion. Yeah.
Follow me. Starts off with Elegua, which is the path opener, Ogun, Ochosi, Shango, Aigayu, Ochun.
Yeah, like you can put bad spirits on people too. Like you can put a person's name and like their birthday and that inside the. You can put them inside the Agun pot. And then Agun like metal, like they can get shot, stabbed, something can happen to them.
So it would be something in metal that would. I heard it from him. He's in Santeria, he worships demons, and he summons demons into people to harm people. In specific, he worships Ogun and Yemeya, which number 6 is Ogun in the song, and number 7 in Santeria represents Yemeya, which is exactly what he is saying in the songs. And now,
So there you have it, man. This rapper, that has this new trend, this of saying 6-7 that's prevalent among the youth. This dude is into summoning demons on people. Writing people's names, in the fucking death note, so to speak. But let's go to the scriptures. Let's go to let's see. Let's start off. Let's go to the law. Let's see, Leviticus chapter 19 in verse 26. it says, ye shall not do anything with blood, neither shall ye use enchantment, nor observe the times. You know, so this was a law, you know, this was a statute that was given to our people, you know, back during the time of Moses, you know, to not use enchantments, you know, to not conjure up spirits, familiar spirits, you know, conjuring up demons, you know, observing witchcraft, you know, like it says in the CSB version, it says, you are not to eat anything with blood in it, you are not to practice divination or witchcraft. You know, so everything, the act of conjuring up these spirits, you know, using enchantments, you know, these things are not of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And our people were specifically told not to do it. You know, let's get Jeremiah 10. Start at 1. It says, hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. Right, the customs of these heathen are vain, man. You know, all of these gods that they sacrifice to, these idols of wood and stone, that have no breath, that have no life in them. You know, these customs of the heathen are completely vain. But our people, you know, the Israelites who have been given the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord power of Israel, they continuously follow after these heathen nations, man. You know, even after being warned numerous times not to do so, man. It's continuing on to verse 3, it says, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth the tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. And what does that sound like? You know, taking a tree and decking it with silver and gold. That sounds like a Christmas tree, does it not? You know, the people take a tree. You know, they don't use real trees anymore. They get those plastic trees, you know, from the grocery store, and they fasten it with what? Ornaments, man. You know, ornaments. You know, Santa Claus. And this is the holiday that these people are about to celebrate, man. You know, next month on December 25th. You know, they just got done celebrating Thanksgiving, which celebrates the slaughter of the northern kingdom of Israel, the Gadites and the Reubenites, you know, which make up the native / the Seminole Indians. And now, you know, once again, Jacob's about to partake in the customs of the people, man. You know, and Jacob's been doing that all along, man. Our people, they love to pursue after the gods of the heathen that have no power in them, man. You know, even against the Lord's best interest for them. You know, let's get Deuteronomy chapter 18. And matter of fact, no, let's get Psalms chapter 106. And I'll start at verse 4. It says, remember me, O Lord, with the favor that thou bearest unto thy people. O visit me with thy salvation, that I may see the good of thy chosen, that I may rejoice in gladness of thy nation, that we may glory in thine inheritance. You know, and that's what we hope for, no? You know, we're praying, you know, we're worshiping the Lord, hoping that he beautifies us with that salvation and that he delivers his elect, you know, which is why we call ourselves the hopeful elect, man. You know, but the wicked of our people, what did they do? Verse 6, it says, we have sinned with our fathers, we have committed iniquity, we have done wickedly. Our fathers understood not thy wonders in Egypt. They remembered not the multitude of thy mercies, but provoked him at the sea, even at the Red Sea. So even when Jake were witnesses to the miracles that were being done in Egypt, you know, mainly through the prophet Moses, they still understood it not. They continued to do wickedly, man. They still worshiped the golden calf. You know, they were still in the wilderness murmuring at Moses. You know, let's go further down to verse 34. It says, let's see, I'll start at verse 32. It says, they angered him also at the waters of strife, that it went ill with Moses for their sakes, because they provoked his spirit so that he spake unadvisedly with his lips. They did not destroy the nation concerning whom the Lord commanded them, talking about the Israelites, our people, our forefathers, but they were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Yea, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils. You know, sacrificing their own sons and their daughters, you know, all to gain the respect of these false gods that don't have no breath of life in them, these statues, man. You know, conjuring up spirits, you know, the familiar spirits, being witches and warlocks, practicing all kinds of sorcery, you know, conjuring up spirits, man. You know, like how King Saul, you know, with the help of a witch, conjured up the spirit of Samuel. You know, woke him up from his sleep when he was in the spirit world. It says, verse 37, yea, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan. And the land was polluted with blood. And when you read the scriptures, man, the gods of Canaan, you know, which were the main sect of the people who the Israelites conquered in order to, you know, obtain that Holy Land. When you read the book of Joshua, the gods of Canaan was a huge snare to the Israelites, man. You know, they were serving the gods of the Moabites. You know, they would go on to serve the gods of the Romans and the Greeks. But the Canaanites, man, those gods, those idols had a huge hold on Jake in the ancient world, man. Verse 39, thus were they defiled with their own works, and went a-whoring after their own inventions. Therefore was the wrath of the Lord kindled against his people, insomuch that he abhorred his own inheritance, man. And where did that leave us? You know, we ended up going into captivity under all these nations, man. You know, the Lord said, since you want to serve these abominable idols, since you want to keep disobeying my commandments, now I'm going to give you over into their hands, man. You know, and fast forward hundreds, you know, thousands of years later, and Jake is still under that same vibration of continuously following after the heathen nations, man, and following after their gods. You know, rejecting Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, you know, the one true power who chose them. You know, so I'm going to end this off. What's that scripture? I forgot what exact. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Yeah, Jeremiah chapter 2. And let's see. Jeremiah 2:11. It says, hath the nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? But my people have changed their glory for that which doeth not profit, man. That's what Jake did. They changed the glory. You know, the Lord gave us the covenants, the oracles of God, you know, gave us, you know, the birthright, you know, through Jacob, you know, the inheritance we have, being Yasha Allah, he prince of the power. And these Jakes, man, they tossed all that to the side for gods which do not profit them. You know, for idols which have no breath, no life in them. They changed their glory for voodoo, in favor of voodoo and witchcraft and being a damn warlock, man. And this is why these Jakes out here, you know, mainly those that dwell in Babylon the Great, their judgment is going to be very harsh and very severe. And like the scripture says in Jeremiah, lift up not a cry nor prayer for them, man. You know, so when judgment comes down upon all these niggas, man, You know, we're not gonna feel sorry for them because we told them what the deal was and they refused to listen. The same way they refused to hearken onto Moses all those thousands of years ago, man. You know, so I hope this lesson was edifying. And with that, I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praise to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstones, Geometric Ruel, Shalom, Kwame, Sha'ala, Wa, Abababal.